It's been a weird year, hasn't it? In fact, it's been 432 days since we officially entered a pandemic. I looked it up. And in that time, you continue to hear the phrase, unprecedented times. How many times have you heard that? Yeah, roll of eyebrows. We are in unprecedented times. Yet the work of God at Holy Comforter has continued. We've continued to worship. It started out with video messages from Micah, and we moved into the parking lot, and now some of us are here in worship, some of us are in the parking lot, and some of us are connected by video. In fact, I will argue that our video worship is one of the missions that has been growing at Holy Comforter. My oldest son lives in Louisville, Kentucky, and he joins us every Sunday for worship. Hi, Alex. We've been involved in fellowship. A lot of it has been through Zoom, I admit. But when we were locked down, I was getting phone calls from members just check in and say, how are you doing? Are you still with us? Becca has creatively been bringing the Holy Comforter youth together for fellowship and service. And we have committed to service. We've supported SOX and BCO, and we support the world through our contributions to the Synod. The COVID apparently is going to end at some point. It was actually in yesterday's Wall Street Journal. There are 10 signs that we're getting back to normal. Not there yet, but getting back to normal. So what does that mean for Holy Comforter? What will we do when we get back to normal? I suggest we have the opportunity to turn that phrase, unprecedented times, on its ear. And we have the opportunity to fill this house of worship with people. I don't mean separated 6 feet and wearing masks. I mean shoulder to shoulder, maybe multiple services. We have an opportunity for deeper, meaningful relationships in person, small groups, and getting back to potlucks. I mean, we're Lutherans, right? We eat. And engaged in service, and not just checkbook service, but service of ourselves, time and talent, as well as treasure committed to BCO and SOX. And the world. I was intrigued. Before COVID, we had a group of people go to an orphanage in South America, and I was very intrigued by that opportunity for mission. I would love to see that get back to going. We are kicking off a stewardship campaign. You should have received a letter from Micah and Julia and an email, and you'll get more information about it, I promise. But we have the opportunity to invest our time, talent, and treasure to make the next years at Holy Comforter an unprecedented time. So all I'm asking you to do is prayerfully consider the materials that you receive. You will get an intent card. Please fill it out and send it and bring it back here. May 9th, I believe, is our intent Sunday. I know we normally do this in the fall, but these are unprecedented times. We're doing it in the spring. We have no financial goal for this effort. It is merely just to connect all of us back to Holy Comforter, back to God's work as we come out of this horrible COVID period. So thank you for your prayerful consideration of this.
Thanks, Jim. So one of the things that you'll see with this program is that each Sunday for the next few weeks, someone's going to give a talk on generosity. This is a program that was designed and the Synod sponsored for us to be able to be a part of. And today it's supposed to be me. So I'm going to give you that talk now. When I was a kid, the ELCA, the Lutheran group of which we're a part, had these events that were called global mission events that would take place around the country. And like the loyal Lutheran family that we were, for those that don't know, both my parents are Lutheran pastors too, a lot of our summer vacations would include going to these events. As you might expect from a global mission event, these events always had a very international feel to them, with musicians, preachers, artisans, missionaries, and participants from all around the world, people leading workshops, playing music, preaching, and worshiping and fellowshipping together. And I couldn't tell you at this point, it was a long time ago, what the purpose statement of these events necessarily was, but I can tell you that for me, thinking back on them, they were a celebration of various cultures. They were an opportunity to share stories and to build relationships and a witness to the worldwide impact of the gospel. One of the things that I learned about at these events was the ministry that the ELCA was involved in through organizations like the World Hunger Appeal and Lutheran World Relief, among many others. I learned both of the struggles of people in other countries as well as our own, with things like unclean water supplies, lack of food sources, unstable shelter, and also how I could contribute to helping by donating to the work these organizations were doing. So probably when I was around 8 years old, I got some money for my birthday, and I decided that I would give $20 to the World Hunger Appeal to help feed people in various parts of the world. I still remember the envelope that I put it in and set it in the offering plate. Now, this isn't a story about how generous I am, because I will also tell you that I was a bit too proud of giving that $20, and I rode that one act of generosity for way too long, thinking that I was such a great person for it. But what I learned in part through those events is how important storytelling and relationships are when it comes to generosity. When we know the stories, not just the facts, but the stories, and we know the people involved and know the impact that we can make, we are often moved to help. Since that time, I've gotten to know folks in these kinds of ministries as I've spent a bit of time overseas, as I've worked with folks here in this congregation, and in that time, God's abundance has been so very clear time after time, because people step up and give generously to meet the needs of others, not just in money, but also in their time, in the gifts that they have to share, in their compassion. And they do it most often when these stories are told and relationships have been formed. Ultimately, all of these stories are God's story, as our generosity is merely a reflection of and a reaction to the way God provides for us, not only with enough, but with abundance enough to share. And we get to be a part of God's work as we make God's kingdom known through generosity. Thank you.